He's the former president and publisher of the Sun Herald, and now he's on the radio. Welcome to Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. That was a terrific conversation with Mayor Billy Hughes from the city of Gulfport. He's provided such great leadership, and I continue to be so pleased to see the mayors and leaders across coastal Mississippi come together and fight this common enemy in COVID. Their weekly communications and their efforts to make sure that they are in tune with one another in terms of how they fight this common enemy has been something to behold. It's one coast of Mississippi. When we have come together on common issues, we're a lot stronger than if we work separately, and they certainly have come together on this issue, and it's been great to see. Our next guest is John Ferrucci, my friend, John Ferrucci from the Sliver Slipper Casino in Hancock County. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ricky. Thank you for having me on.
It's great to see you. I really enjoyed our extended Coast Vue session together when I first started this show, and we'll put a link to it so people can get to know you better. You have a great story to tell. You've had several paths here in coastal Mississippi, and before you actually got here, but you've been sort of planted at the Sliver Slipper for some time now, and you've been here before where you've had to fight your way through the post-disaster environment, and you're doing it again. So do you feel like you're prepared for this, just because you've sort of been there before?
Well, there's no doubt that the experience that we had from previous disasters really made the learning curve a little lower, you know what I mean? So we had some experience that we could draw on. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. But this was unique. You know, when a hurricane's coming, you can see it coming. You know how long it's here. It's gone the next day. You see what's in front of you to rebuild, and you get started. This may be with us forever. And so it's a change in lifestyle, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. And our staff has rallied to the cause, and our guests have been wonderful. So everybody gets it now.
Yeah, I've often described it. It's funny that we're having this conversation, and there's another tropical system down in the Bay of Campeche that could be forming. And our advice to people today on the show is simply just pay attention. It's a good time to get your hurricane preparedness plan together. But I've often described the situation as sort of, we're in the eye of the storm. We don't really, and it's just sitting on top of us. We don't know what's on the other side yet. We don't know what's going to make life, somewhat back to normal. I don't know if we'll ever be back to normal the way that we knew it before, but certainly if we get a vaccine, it's going to be at least more like normal. But we could be 6 to 18 months away from that or longer. Like you said, this may be, we could be here forever dealing with a COVID scenario. And that's just this coronavirus. What about the next one? So it's really changed our awareness to what would happen if an infectious disease gets loose in America, and we're in the middle of it now. So what we're doing now is just trying to figure out what's the best way to live with this. And what I have preached on my show, John, is that coastal Mississippi is in a unique position to take advantage of drive-in visitors. That if we continue to send the message to the world that we're a safe place to visit, that the people here who run the businesses and the attractions of coastal Mississippi, that they get it, and that they're going to work hard to make you safe so that when you come here, you can enjoy yourself. Certainly the experience is going to be somewhat different, but you can still enjoy yourself and know that the people who run these institutions like Sliver Slipper get it, and we're going to make sure that you're as safe as you can possibly be. That's one of the most important messages we can send to the world right now, isn't it?
It really is, and we've obviously taken it very seriously. We made sure that we, from the time you pull up, at one of our entrances, you can see the effort that we're making, and everything, all the changes that we've made and everything we're doing was all designed with the safety of our guests and our staff in mind. So everybody knows we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't absolutely necessary. Truth be told, we should have been doing some of this stuff a long time ago. Been doing a little extra disinfecting. We should have been doing a little more careful. Maybe not to the extent of wearing masks or anything, but we've stepped it up. The challenge we're having now is that staffing is an issue, and so we're struggling to provide that level of service that we would like to provide. We're getting there, but it's been a struggle every day. So we're in the process now looking for some additional folks who are looking for a good career with a great company, and we'll kind of take it from there.
So Thursday will be 2 weeks since you guys opened. So what's the early results?
Well, I have to tell you, it was really very encouraging. That opening day, we had 300 people that were lined up. Now social distancing, it took them all the way down the end of the parking lot. But they all came in, and they were thankful. They were appreciative. There was definitely some pent-up demand, in the very beginning. Now that's leveled off a little bit, but it's been a steady flow. Business levels have been, average or a little above average every day since we've been opened, even the midweek. Now, yesterday just came off a Monday. It was good for a Monday, and today looks pretty good. You know what I mean? So we're just hoping that the word's getting out that this is a safe environment. We do so much. We take everybody's temperature on the way in the door. We have hand sanitizers literally everywhere. We offer gloves. We put protective shields up on some of our table games between the viewers and the guests. And I only did it on 10 tables, but it's been so well received, I'm going to put it on the rest. I just ordered the rest. And this is going to stay. Whenever things level off and maybe social distancing gets pared back a little bit, and the governor, allows us to go to phase 2 and 3, whatever those are going to look like, we're probably going to keep some of these things in place because it's a comfortable environment. And the big challenge for us was our buffet. Our buffet is a big draw. We feed 40,000 people a month just for lunch and dinner in our buffet. And they all couldn't wait to get back to it. But the difference now is that nobody touches anything. Our staff serves all the food. We have on the salad bar, everything's prepackaged in disposable cups. If you want potato salad or whatever, you take what you want, you bring it back to the table with you, and that gets thrown away so nobody else is touching it. And so they've all adjusted to that, and it takes a few extra people on our end to make sure that happens. But it's been working beautifully, and everybody understands it and they appreciate it. So we've been busy with that too.
Yeah, 40,000 people a month. That's incredible. So I think that's actually going to wait. Buffets. There's going to be an expectation on buffets from now on that they be handled differently.
Yeah, I think I don't think you're ever going to be able to go back to the old way. That's what everybody said. It's kind of scary. I don't want to touch something that somebody else touched. I don't know where they've been. Before we shut down, we did a couple of days where we asked everyone to wear gloves. But even that, is not really the protection you really want. It's a means to an end, but it's really not the end result. So I think the cafeteria style, which is what we're doing, is really going to be the way to go in the future. And it's the same great product. It's just that we're putting on a plate for you. You tell us exactly which piece of chicken you want. We're going to get that for you. But, we're going to touch it for you, and that makes everybody happy.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that that's the way of the future. I can say unfortunately, but I've always been a little leery of buffets. To be honest with you, you just don't know. And now I think we're so much more aware. That's for sure. You always had a really strong clientele coming in from Louisiana. Do you find that your current clientele is very much your old customers?
It absolutely is. I'd say it was about 50% of the people through the door since we've been open have been from Southeast Louisiana. And these are folks that have been our customers and our friends, for the past 13 years here. We finally, so once we had a target date for the opening that Thursday, we went ahead and sent some direct mail out to our friends and said, we're going to be open, come on back. And you go through our parking lot, you'll see more than half the cars are Louisiana tags, and still to this day. So they're coming over. We've done a lot of things to stimulate that. Obviously, our foods are prepared in such a way that they have a discerning palate over there. They like their food a certain way out of the New Orleans area. So we make sure that we provide that for them, and they know what to expect when they come here. Plus, the overall ambiance of our places may be a little different. We're a little smaller than some of the other places. Our folks have a little more personal contact with our guests. They know half of the people come here by name, maybe even more than that. And they came back to meet some old friends on the way back, and they're still coming through the door. A lot of people we haven't seen yet. Some of the older folks, are laying back. We haven't been doing much bus business. They're going to wait until things are a little better. And honestly, I encourage them to do that right now. You don't want to feel uncomfortable when you come here. You come here when you're comfortable with it. But I will tell you, when you do get here, it's going to be as safe as it could possibly be. So with that in mind, they'll make the decision when to return on their own.
How did you handle slot machines, John?
Well, we were hoping that we would be able to open every other machine that would give us enough social distancing, but that didn't make it. They needed 6 feet. So we lost more than half of our machines. Out of 855 machines, I have 392 open. And so we have a big red circle with the X, the no sticker, on the screen of the machines that are not available for play. And so and we tried to keep a good mix of machines so people at least had at least 1 or 2 of the type of machines that they look for when they come available. And so we've done that. So with 392 machines, less than half of our inventory, our volume of coin-in numbers has been almost what it was last year.
Wow.
Because
That's incredible.
Busy all the time. They're just busy all the time, and they don't stop until somebody gets tired and somebody's standing right behind them to get in them again.
So let's do this. We're coming to the end of this segment. We'll come back after the segment and just talk about Hancock County and how it's coming back. Had a great conversation with Tish Williams the other day, and what else is on your mind. So we'll come back after the break. This is John Ferrucci from the Sliver Slipper Casino.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
So we've got John Ferrucci from the Sliver Slipper Casino with us today. And it's so great to hear not only the response that you've gotten in terms of overall business since you reopened, because it is different. It is a different situation with social distancing and some petitions that are up, and the way you're handling your food, and it's all slightly different, or in some cases, big time different. But it's just hear the overall impact on your business. That's really great to see. And it really, as you pointed out, I think people really are very anxious, even though they want to do it in a safe way. They're very anxious to get on with their lives. We saw that in Hancock County. I mean, I talked to Phil Bryant, former governor of Mississippi, yesterday, and he went to downtown Bay St. Louis to eat over the weekend. He said it was just wonderful. I mean, that's such a beautiful place. I mean, it's one of the most important bookends that any coast could ever ask for. What do you have to say about the way Hancock County is rallying and preparing themselves for this new world?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm really very proud of the people who live in Hancock County, the business owners especially, with Tish and her crew from the Chamber of Commerce, and what they've been doing to kind of keep everything together and keep the juices flowing, so people were still kept informed of everything that was going on down here, and getting the word out, through coastal Mississippi, and to all of our friends out there who are within the 50-mile driving radius, and know that Bay St. Louis and Hancock County in particular on the coast is a great destination. The day they opened the beaches up, you couldn't move down here from the casino all the way down to the pier. It was slammed, and that was a great indicator that people were ready to come back to Hancock County. And restaurants have been doing such a great job. First with the takeout, now they've opened some of their dining rooms, but you couldn't. The mayor of Bay St. Louis had to close the street off because there were so many people in line for the restaurants. He wouldn't let any traffic down there a couple times. So when things like this happen, it just tells me that everybody gets it. They understand. They're doing it the right way. We want it to be safe and friendly environment, because Hancock County was kind of on a roll before we had this COVID experience, and we're just trying to get back to those levels, and to bring people from the outer market in here who can come spend the day, or maybe even stay overnight and go back. Our RV park, we have 2 RV spots, 37 spots down here, and they're full. They've been full through the Memorial Day weekend. So that means people are coming down here, and they remember what it was like being in Hancock County before, and we want to make sure that they get that same good experience when they come back.
Well, one of the things I love most about this show is the opportunity. I've said so many times that we're a collection of unique communities. They all have their own history and culture and food and restaurants and sites and people. It's such a special place. I mean, we need to come together and find our common issues and speak as one voice as a region when we need to do that. But what makes this such a great place is this collection of communities. And what I say to people is that if you're leery about traveling away for now, and I can understand why you might feel that way, this would be actually a great opportunity to refocus on Mississippi. Go to the Blues Trail up in the Delta. If you're in Jackson or Harrison County and you hadn't been to Old Town Bay St. Louis in a while, boy, this would be a good opportunity to go check it out and make that drive down to the Sliver Slipper and see that special place that they've got there and how they treat their people and the fine restaurants they've got there. I mean, the opportunity to really encourage people to, if you want to do a staycation, this is the time to do it, isn't it?
That's exactly right. I mean, what better place? You know, we're all guilty of that. You know, we look right past the stuff that's right in front of us, and we think to go somewhere else, the grass is greener. There's so much to do and see here that people who live here or live close by really haven't taken full advantage of it. Now that you get forced to kind of take a step back and, you know, take a breath and relax a little bit, you can kind of focus on what's close at home. And I think that's been happening now since we've reopened. We're seeing a lot more of that than we did before.
You know, Tish Williams, I talked to her last week, and she said she could count on one hand the number of times she'd been to the beach in the past 10 or 15 years. And suddenly she's been down there several times. I mean, people, when you can't have access to something, or I think Katrina did this too. I mean, it made us kind of withdraw to some extent and really appreciate the things we had, whether it was our family, whether it was this great place. And as I've said many times on air, that we learned that buildings don't make a community, the people do. But it is an opportunity to really appreciate what we have. And she's saying that, you know, a lot of her friends and herself and people who are visiting the community are seeing that. And certainly you're testifying to that, saying that the beach was unbelievable. And probably you'd never seen anything like that before, is what my guess is.
The busiest we've ever seen it. It was always busy during the season, but this was really the busiest we've ever seen it, and we're thrilled to see it.
And that is so awesome. That is so awesome. I think with that attitude and your leadership and people like Tish, I follow her on Facebook and watch what the Chamber has done. The Chamber has always done such an incredible job of using all the technology, whether it be Facebook Live or whatever, to let people know what's happening in the community. I love her spirit, her can-do attitude, and the people that she's surrounded with. And with, you know, leaders like you in the community, we're going to get through this. We're coming to the end of our time together, John, but I really appreciate you taking the time to join me this morning.
Ricky, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, and your show has been such a wonderful boost for everybody on the coast who listens, and I know everybody I talk to, the more and more they tune in, you know, on a regular basis. So keep up the great work, man, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Stay safe.
Subscribe for free to the Coast Vue podcast on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.